morning, sir. I am Priya. Today I am presenting my Tableau data visualization project. The title of my project is an employee and company performance analytics dashboard. In this presentation, I will cover the four main parts. First, I will explain how I created my data sets. Second, I will explain my employee analysis dashboard. Third, I will explain my company performance dashboard, and finally I will walk through my Tableau story with the conclusion. Let's begin with the dataset. The foundation of this entire project is the data. The most important thing I want to highlight is that I did not download any dataset from the internet. I created my database from scratch using the Microsoft Excel. I built two tables. First table is the employee table. This table has more than 200 rows where every single row represents the one employee of the organization. The column 1 created the employee ID and employee name, department, job, salary, performance score, years of the experience attribute, which means whether the employee left the company or not, age, gender. The departments I include are advertising, consulting, finance, human resource, IT services, logistics, manufacturing, marketing, real estate, and sales. So this represents the complete realistic organization with the 10 different departments. The second table is the company table. This table also has more than 200 rows, where every row represents the one company. The column is the table or company name, industry, city, state, revenue, year, found, retail, consulting, software, and telecom, among others. I kept the data clean throughout. There are no missing values. All department names are standardized. Salary ranges are realistic per job role, and all the cities and states names are geographically accurate. This data was then imported into a table where all features analysis and visualization was done. Here are the two datasets what I uploaded. First chart is a head count. Head count by a department. This is the horizontal bar chart showing the total number of employees in each department. How human resources has the highest head count with approximate 35 employees. Manufacturing follows closely with around 32 employees. Marketing and advertising each have around 25 employees. IT service has around 20 employees, and sales has the fewest employees at approximately 15. What this tells us is that the company has invested heavily in the human resources, and manufacturing the sales team is quick lane, which may limiting revenue growth potential. Next, second chart is the average performance by the department. This chart shows the average performance score out of the 100 for each department. Logistics has the highest performance score, nearly 100 out of 100, and this means the logistics team is operating at the peak efficiency. Human resources and the real estate follow with the score between 90 to 95. IT services and consulting are in the 70 to 80 range. Sales has the lowest performance score at around 55 to 60 out of 100. The business implication here is clear. Logistics is the best performing department. Sales is significantly underperforming and needs immediate attention, whether through better training or a structural changes in the team. Next, third chart is the average salary by department. This bar chart displays the average annual sales per department. Consulting the place pays the highest average salary at nearly $1 lakh per year. IT services also pays very high at around $95. Finance and real estate are 85,000 to $19 range. Human resources pay around $18. Logistics pays comparatively lower than around $60. Now here are very interesting observations. Logistics pays the lowest salary among professional departments but scores the highest in the performance. This means logistics is delivering the best return on investment for a company. Highest output at the lowest cost. This is the most efficient department in the entire organization. Next, fourth chart is attrition rate by department. This is the most critical chart on this dashboard. Attrition rate means out of 100 employees in the department, how many have left the company. The industry standard benchmark for the attrition is 10 to 15%. Anything above that is the problem. Finance has the attrition rate of 50%. That means out of every 2 finance employees has left the company. This is extremely alarming. Consulting is at the 45% and manufacturing is at the 48%. These are all critical high numbers. Human resources is at around 30%, which is still above benchmark but more manageable. Real estate and sales have a lowest attrition at around 25 to 28%. The business implication is the finance, consultancy and manufacturing are facing a serious talent retent, and this is happening despite finance and consulting paying the highest salaries in the organization. So problem is not money, it could be work culture, poor management, lack of growth or opportunities, or a work-life balance issues. Next, fifth chart is employee attrition overview pie chart. This is a pie chart gives the organization wide attrition picture across the entire company. 35% of all the employees have left, shown in the orange color, and 65% of employees are retained, shown in the blue color. An overall attrition rate of 35% is more than the double the industry average of 10 to 15%. This means the company is losing more than one third of its workforce. Every time an employee leaves the company, spends 1.5 to 2 times that person's annual salary to hire and train replacement. So this is a attrition circus is not just a people problem, it is massive financial problem. Next, the calculation fields. Here are the calculation fields. Now let me explain the calculated fields I built for this dashboard inside the table. This first calculated field is attrition rate. Here is the attrition rate, and the formula is sum of employees where attrition equals S divided by the total count of all the employees. This gives the exact percentage of the employees who left per department. This matrix does not exist in the raw Excel data. I delivered it myself inside the table. The second calculation field is average salary. This formula is simply the average of the salary column. This gives the mean annual compensation per department. The third calculated field is performance score. The formula is the average of performance score column. This gives the normalized average performance rating per the department on the scale of 0 to 100. These three fields together enable the complete workforce healthy and analysis seen on this dashboard. This is the full employee dashboard. It is the navigation button. When I click, it will directly goes to company dashboard, and this is my company dashboard. Now I will explain the company dashboard. First chart is number of companies by industries. This horizontal bar chart shows the how many companies exist in the each industries in the dataset. Advertising has the most companies at around 17. IT services and real estate follow with the 14 to 15 companies each. Education and insurance have a fewest companies in the dataset, and what this tells us is that advertising is the more manageable and competitive industry. Many companies are competing for a same market. Education and insurance are a more consolidation with the fewer but potentially larger larger players. Second chart is revenue trend. This is a multiple panel line chart showing the revenue over time. I group the companies by how long they have been on the business list: 1 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, and 10 plus. The finding here is very interesting. Newer companies in the 1 to 5 years bracket generate approximate $150 million in total revenue. Companies in the 6 to 10 years bracket shows the significantly lower revenue, and the companies that have been on the list for more than 10 years shows the lowest revenue at around 10 billion. The revenue growth line follows the same declining patterns. Newer companies are growing faster. Newer companies are growing faster. Next, revenue by industry. This bar chart shows the total revenue contribution by industry. Logistics generation the highest revenue by very significant margin, over $1 million. Human resources and real estate come in the second and third. IT services, advertising, and business services are the middle range. Software and consumer industries contribute the least revenue. This is very powerful finding when combined with the employee dashboard. Logistics is not just the highest performing department for the employees, it is also the highest revenue generating industry for the company. This confirms the logistics is most valuable business area across all the dimensions. Next is revenue by the city. The tree map uses the size of boxes and the color intensity to show the proportion. The bigger the box, the higher the revenue. And finding here the dramatic. Chicago has a box that is enormous compared to every other city. Chicago alone generates the dollars, that is $4.3 billion. The label is displayed directly on the box, where other cities listly and others appears as a tiny box in the comparison. This extreme size different visual communicates in the seconds what would take paragraph to explain in the report. Kinkango is dominated revenue hub and company is critically dependent on this one city. Next, revenue by state. This is the interactive graphic geographic map, one of the key requirements of this assignment. The map shows the revenue distribution across all US states using two visual encoding. First is the color. Darker navy blue means higher revenue, lighter blue means lower revenue. Second is labeled. Each city one map shows its name and revenue figure directly on the geographic location. So when you look the Illinois, you see the Kinkango with 4.3 million labeled right on the map. You can, however, any state tulip appears showing the state name, city and the total revenue and the number of companies. Next, fourth is the revenue growth. Fourth is the total workers by the years. This chart is horizontal bar chart that displays the total number of workers employed by the companies based on how long they have appeared on the Inc5000 list. Companies that have been on the list of 1 to 5 years employ and the highest number of workers at approximate 7,18,000 shown by the longest dark green bar. Companies in the 6 to 10 years category employ around the 2,16,000 workers shown by the orange bar. Companies with the 10 or more years on the list have been smallest workforce at approximate 10,000 workers only. This clearly proves the newer fast growing companies are the biggest job creators compared to older established ones. The global filters for the state, cities and industries are connected to this chart, allowing the dynamic analysis across all the religion and sectors. And these are my story 1 and story 2 and story 3. This is my conclusion and I am closing this. That brings me the end of my presentation. To summarize what I have covered today is I created the complete custom datasets for 200 plus rows from the scratch. I built 4 logistic calculation fields inside the Tableau and I designed 2 interactive dashboards covering the employee and the company performance. I implemented the global filters connecting all the charts across the both dashboards. I built an interactive geographic map with the color encoding and the city labels, and I combined everything into a 6 Tableau story that tells the complete business narrative from the workforce healthy to company revenue to strategies recommendation. Thank you.